Welcome back, everybody. Silas here today. I got something new and exciting for y'all this time. I was hauling loads into the claw today, and they were taking forever to get me unloaded because 3 of their claws are broken down. So they've only got 1 claw going, and they were doing other stuff with it. So I was sitting there with absolutely nothing to do, getting really frustrated. And I was looking at Facebook Marketplace, and I saw an old truck on there, and I thought, man, that thing's pretty cool. And I messaged the guy, and he says it runs and drives. It needs brake work, which is typical for old trucks, but the dump works on it. It's an old dump truck, and I thought, man, that is too cool. And it was only $1,500. And I thought, man, for a good running, driving truck that the dump works and doesn't leak, you can't beat that. I had to just jump on that deal. So as soon as I saw it, I messaged the guy and I said, hey, can I get this? And he said, if you can get here quick, I've got to get out of here for work. And I said, well, they're unloading me now. I'm waiting for them to unload me. And it's only about a 35 minute drive to get there. So I'll be up there as quick as I can. I had the trailer hooked up to the Dodge like I usually do when I'm hauling scrap cars, just because I don't want to drive this nice truck into the scrapyard. And technically this is my truck. This doesn't belong to the scrapyard. So the Dodge is technically my truck too, but it's a whole lot cheaper than this truck. So I just don't want this truck to really go around the scrapyard too much. So anyway, I had to run home, unhook the trailer, and take the truck, park it, and then I grab this truck. I go to hook up to the trailer. Well, my Dodge sits about 20 inches lower than this truck, and I couldn't get the trailer on the truck. So I had to hook back up to the other truck. I had to put the trailer up on blocks to get it up higher in the air and jack it up as high as it would go. And then I was finally able to get this truck underneath it. So right now I am sitting at a mega angle, and it's not pulling the greatest. I'm having to do about 50 miles an hour. But I ran over there real quick. I looked at the truck. I said, this is perfect. I drove it on the trailer and paid the guy, and now I'm headed home. I wasn't able to film loading it just because he was in a really big hurry to get out of there so he could get to work on time, and I was pushing it on time. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead, just pay it and get it loaded real quick, and then I'll get out of here. But while I was there, I bought another car, but we'll look more at that later. Right now, I'm gonna finish driving, and I'll see you guys as soon as I get there. Well, I made it. You guys ready to see what it is? It's a pretty cool truck. I really like it. It is a 1959 Chevy Viking 60 series. Pretty cool truck. It's got a little bit of body damage to it. It's got a little bit of Bondo in the fenders, but man, you just don't see them this clean and this nice very often. Check this thing out. It's got a steel floor in it. A little bit of rust up here in the fender. Same as the other side. Cab corners probably have a little bit of rust. Visors have got some rust in. I mean, it's an old truck. How old is this truck? It's, what, 63 years old? 63 years old. You can't expect it to be perfect. Man, just check that thing out. That teal blue paint just makes it look so good. I saw this on there, and I said, man, I've got to have that if it runs like he says it does. And it does. It just fires right up and purrs. And then it's got the steel floor over the top of wood. All the wood's still under there and still good, and that steel floor makes things slide out of there a lot easier. I've got a couple more of these back over there. I don't know if you can see them. Back up in there that run and drive, which I sold the cab off of one of them, so that one's no good. But the other one still has a cab, runs and drives, but it's only got a 12-foot bed on it. This is a 13-foot bed, so this is a little bit longer, and then that one has a wood floor in it, whereas this one is steel. So I think this will be a lot better truck for me. Plus, the hydraulics on this one here work perfect. That other one, the hydraulics leak really bad. This has got twin cylinders on it. Dumps right up in the air, but I'll show you guys all that here in a minute. First thing I got to do is get this thing off the trailer. You can see how, well, you can't really tell. See if I can get this leveled out. You can see just how high my trailer is, or you can look at my tires. Those are 14-ply tires here on the back and 10-ply on the front, and you can see how much that's squatting, and that's not squatting at all. That's how high the front of my trailer is. You can't really see just how high it is on camera. So all of the weight of this load was distributed backwards onto this back axle, so it was a little bit wobbly and squirrely. But I just took it nice and slow, kept it safe all the way home. You can see here, I've got my hitch upside down for when it's on the Dodge because my Dodge sits so low. So I need to just go ahead and get a new hitch. And I think if that hitch was the other way around, this trailer would be pretty well level. So I need to go ahead and do that. But that's enough talking. I'm going to get this thing unloaded, then I'll fire it up and I'll kind of show it to you guys. Yeah, it runs and drives great. Just the no brakes thing is kind of an issue, which it has brakes. You just have to pump them really fast, and it kind of has brakes. One of those type of deals. But I'm sure it's going to need a little bit of work. But I mean, it's a 1959 model. You can't expect it to be perfect. Seat's a little bit broken down. I need to put something in here to pop that back up a little bit. Sits a little bit low, but let's hop up in here. It's not all rotted out inside the cab, except for up here. It's all rotted out up here by the visor, but that's typical. These trucks always rot there. But still got the headliner in it. The windshield's not all busted up. The window's still rolled down. The door's still closed. The mirrors are kind of funky, but I guess they work. I might put something different on there later. The throttle linkage sticks a little bit. You got to push on it kind of hard, so it's a little bit hard to work with that, but once again, just something I got to work with a little bit. Let's see if I can try this again. There we go. Yeah, I'm thinking the carburetor needs a little bit of work, but that's really not that big a deal. It's just an old Rochester. They're pretty easy to redo. Bumpy old truck, but for what I want it for, I think it'll work good. I thought about fixing that one up right there, or maybe that other blue one up front, but I saw this truck listed and I thought, you know, I just really like that body style. I think that's the one I'm going to do. So I went and grabbed it, and it's here now, so I guess, yeah, it is the one I'm going to do. I parked it back here out of the way for now, took the keys out of it, pop the hood, show you guys the engine real quick, then I got to get back out there and get that other car. There's the engine. Pretty clean looking old 235. You can tell it leaks a little bit of oil, but not too bad. It's got a, looks like a pretty new oil bath on it. Carburetor works pretty good. Like I said, I think I just need to work on, I don't know if it's the throttle linkage or what it is, but something's tweaked a little bit. So I'll get that fixed, and once I get all the little things fixed, though, it ought to be a pretty good little truck. I think we can do some fun stuff with this out here. All sorts of content I think a guy could do with an old dump truck. But I'm going to unhook the battery now, hop in the truck, and head back over there and get the other car. I'm almost back out there now, but check that out. Big old house and a big old shop. Someone's got some money. I don't even want to know what that would cost. That's probably $750,000 right there, if not more. Too cool. And car number 2 is a super rusty 1957 Chevy. It was burnt at some point in time. Not much left, but man, for $100 I couldn't pass it up. Figured this would make a good couch for somebody. Then it's got a good frame under it, and it still has the body tags on it. So I figured it was worth the time and effort to bring it home. If nothing else, I'll park it out in the trees and use it for yard art. I'm gonna drive into town so I can get something to eat real quick snack, but check this stuff out over here. Old crane and old farm equipment. Pretty cool stuff. Round and around she goes. I haven't had to fill the DEF tank up yet. I think this is actually only the 4th time I've ever filled this truck up, so not bad. And good morning. I got home late last night and I had some stuff I had to take care of, so I just parked the car here in front of my house. I'm sure the neighborhood loves me when I bring stuff like this home. But anyway, what I've got to do now is I've got to get my truck unhooked, and that way I can hook the Dodge back up to it, because I've got to take this trailer back out to my place, unload this car, load another car up, and then get to the yard. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Well, that was way easier than hooking it up to the Chevy. Obviously this truck here is kind of hard to back up to the trailer because it's a huge blind spot. I have no clue where I'm backing, so I have to just kind of guess. But with the Chevy, I've got a backup camera. I can back right up to it, no problem the first time. So I'm going to switch all my chains and everything over now, and then I'm going to head out there and get this car unloaded. I pull up to the gate, and I gained a hitchhiker. What you need? What you need? Are you hitchhiking? Yeah, you are. Hey, kitty. Yeah, good kitty. Yeah, you're gonna have to get off my trailer though. Yeah, you're gonna have to get off my trailer. Man, that's a good looking truck. I had a pretty good offer on it last night. I don't know, I'm thinking about selling it. It's hard to turn down money, but I'll think about it. I told him it's not for sale this week, maybe next week. The guy that's wanting to buy it actually has wanted to buy that thing for a couple years, and it was never for sale. And it's just one of those deals that when it was for sale right away. And so I just happened to be the lucky one that got it. Got this car loaded up. I've got a guy coming today from out of state. I think he wants the engine, the transmission, the subframe, the steering column, and I forget what else out of this car. And he was just going to come out here and pull it all, but I don't really have time to do that out here. I'd just be sitting here waiting on him all day. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take this to the yard where the crusher's at. That way I can keep crushing cars, and then whenever he gets there, and then he can pull all those parts then. And then once he's done pulling parts, there may not be enough left over to justify keeping it, so I may just go ahead and crush it at that point. Or I may bring it back out here. I don't know. We'll decide on that later, but I'm going to show you that 57 real quick. This thing is a rusty piece of junk. I mean, obviously, since it was burnt, there's really not much good left on it. I mean, the whole thing is just falling apart. There's absolutely no floor at all back there in the back or here. I was dumping burnt chunks of everything all down the road all the way home. I just tried to take the back roads. But, surprisingly, the metal isn't that warped. So I think this back section back here, I can go ahead and just chop that off and sell it to somebody for a budget couch or something like that. I mean, it's not nice. It's not nearly as nice as a lot of the ones I've cut up. But for somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of money, that doesn't want to spend, you know, $2,500, $2,000, $3,000, however much money on a nice trunk section that's all done up, they can get this one here for a couple $100, do the work themselves, and have a whopping $300 or $400 and a love seat or a couch or a bench or whatever. So just be a whole lot cheaper. And then it does have a lot of chassis parts. The frame does have a tiny bit of rust at the back of it by the rear wheels. I don't know. Once I get the body off of it, I'll look and see how bad it is. So the frame itself may not be anything. I don't know. We'll decide on that later. And it does have the body tags on it, and some people need those. Obviously, you can't legally take those off, but this firewall is actually still in pretty good condition. So if you take this firewall and use it to build your car, then it's completely legal. You can do it that way. So having body tags with paperwork for this car makes some of this stuff sellable. So it does have a few parts, and I thought about just taking it and crushing it like it is, and I may do that at some point. I don't know. We'll see. I'll give it a chance at least. I'll say that. I'll give it a chance. And if it doesn't sell and nothing off of it sells, then at that point in time, I'll go ahead and make a crushing video. But we'll worry about that another day. I really wish I had, this just popped in my head, I really wish I had one of those balers, like the bale cars. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that picture, but there's that picture of a 50, I think it's a 55. But they put it in the baler and build it into a little tiny cube and put it on a pallet. That's pretty cool art. And I would love to do that with this car, but I don't have a baler, and I don't know anybody that does have a baler around here. It is absolutely beautiful out here. It's really hard to go back to work when it's this nice out. It's been so hot the last couple days, and it's a little bit humid today, but it's just much cooler. I'd love to just come out here and work on something out here today, but I can't do that. Prices have dropped, but they're still holding fairly decent. I mean, we were happily selling cars for this price 3 months ago, so I'm going to keep on crushing, keep on hauling, and if they drop another $40, $50 or so, at that point in time is when I'll quit hauling. So I'm going to get this car chained down on my trailer. I'm going to head back over to the yard, take care of all that. I'm not going to record anything over there. You guys have seen me crush cars a bunch. I'm kind of burned out on filming that. I'll try to find some other stuff to film for a little while. Like I said, I do have somebody interested in that dump truck, and they made a good offer on it. They're supposed to come look at it next week. If they buy it, I'll go ahead and let it go. If they decide not to buy it, then I'll go ahead and keep it, and we'll try to do something interesting with it out here. If they do buy it, I'm going to try to find something else that I can do something with out here at the farm. I would kind of like to get something a little bit newer that's a little bit easier to find parts for. I just really like the color and the looks of that one, is why I bought it. But like I say, if they buy it, great. If they don't buy it, that's great too. I don't really care either way. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please give me a thumbs up on this video. Keep checking back. You just never know what's going to happen next. As always, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. And remember to get out there and find an adventure. We'll see you next time.